Man is out of thousands of dollars after he says his vehicle was broken into early Monday morning.
As Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor explains, the thief may have given himself away.
Logan Matsky thought he did everything right to prevent his vehicle from being broken into, including locking the doors, but it just wasn't enough. Logan Matsky says he went to get into his pickup truck Monday morning, but he soon realized something was wrong.
I had opened up my door and my change door on the top was all ripped off the side, and then I had looked in my passenger window, and my passenger window was about that far down.
His wallet with all of his credit cards plus a duffel bag that were left inside were all gone.
I had looked at my bank account and realized that I had $2,200 missing, and then I as well had a couple credit card transactions that were charged at different locations.
But one transaction in particular stands out. Matsky says the alleged culprit used Facebook Pay to send money to himself so his name shows up in the log.
It was a gut-wrenching feeling to have, his name on my transactions showing exactly what happened, and that the fact that he was out there, using that money, my money that I worked for.
While police work to catch the culprit, Matsky says he's disturbed by the whole situation.
It's irritating for, you have to take basically a day off work to go through, do all the process of, getting all the transactions done, signing papers, opening new accounts, and it was very frustrating.
Now Matsky hopes others can learn from his loss.
Even though if you lock your vehicles, bring your personal stuff inside, you just don't know what's going to happen anymore.
The West Fargo Police Department says they are continuing to investigate this break-in. In West Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.